Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Thornburg. And have you ever wondered when you should move your toddler from the crib into a daybed or take the front rail off of the crib and give them access to the room and to the house? I had that question today. It's a question obviously every parent has to address. Here's a couple good guidelines to look at that. First, it's typically around the age of 2 that you want to move them out of the crib and create a daybed or give them a little toddler bed, give them access to the room. It's around 2 years old. Also, if they're able to stand in the crib with the mattress at the lowest setting and their nipples or down are exposed above the railing, then they can climb over the crib. So they're completely set up to climb out of the crib. Sometimes you get kids that are even better climbers where they can use their toes, and even though the bar is above the nipple line, they can use their toes and they can get up on the rail and then get over the crib. So you want to pay attention to this because, one, they don't have a lot of experience climbing like that, and that's a pretty delicate climb, and it's at height, so it could be problematic if they fell off because they would go head first onto the ground below the crib. Also, some crib slats are a little bit wider than others. Obviously, there's a legal limit to how wide the slats can be, but still, your child's likely to get caught in that. And what I worry about is that they would break their leg on a fall. I really encourage parents to move the toddler out of the crib and into a bed, or open the front of the crib up and make a day bed at 2 years old, because essentially they have the height, they have the developmental skill set. We don't want to tempt fate. And that's one of the things I always emphasize is we want to let a child move into their age appropriate abilities. Nobody likes to be held back if they're able to do something. It gets frustrating. And as a child's learning, and these first several years are really important because they're learning how to put together social architectures. Our social architectures done, our ability to socialize, is imprinted into us before we even have logic. So they're learning how to engage the world. And obviously, if we give them opportunities to continue to master what they're developmentally able to do, then that is securing a more genuine sense of self than somebody that's kind of kept limited from being able to do what they potentially can do. While those formative years are going on, it's really important to emphasize to the child, to the toddler, that I'm here to support you in an age-appropriate, ages and stages way, and here you are, you're able to climb, so I'm going to give you more space. Plus, developmentally, they're able to take ownership of the room. So the question then is, how do we keep them safe and keep them from wandering the rest of the house? Because you certainly cannot have a 2-year-old wandering your house at 2 o'clock in the morning while you're sleeping. That's an absolute recipe for disaster. What I tell parents to do is you have to lock the door from the outside. So you can either turn the doorknob around or you put an eye hook there, and then you make sure the entire room is child-proofed, that they can't pull out drawers, use them as stairs, get on top of the dresser. They can't push something up against the window as they get a little bit older and a little bit more skilled in what's available in the room and learning how to put things together. So you want to make sure it is completely safe and age-appropriate, and they're going to play in the room. They're going to run all over the room. When they first have that level of freedom and that new space, they're going to fall asleep in the middle of the floor as they're playing, and they'll just collapse, and eventually they will just move to the crib and fall asleep in the crib because they have been there and done that. It's part of the moving into your age-appropriate development. But meanwhile, you have the door locked, and sometimes parents will say to me, well, I can't lock the door on my child and have them locked in a room. And then I say, well, you just locked them in a crib for 2 years. What's the difference between locking them in a room? You're giving them a safe space that's developmentally appropriate, and that's the best you can do for them because you can't really do otherwise. And we want to, again, move them forward and what they're able to do. So that's the solution. It's around 2. You want to look at their height. It's around 35 inches tall. Also, where the mattress is in relation to that crib bar and where their nipple height comes on. Be ready for earlier than 2 for those kids that are master climbers. And even though a child might not exhibit skills to do it at 2 years old, still move them out. We want to honor them in their normal development. That's what we're here to do. We're here to nurture our children in a healthy way, in a way that makes sense. And we have to remember always, we're not parenting for us, we're parenting for them. Thanks for watching.